Hey everybody, today I want to talk about building emergency packs for family and loved ones. Go bags, bug out bags, get home bags, everyone calls them a different thing it seems like these days. So I have packs I've built over the years for my immediate family, myself, my wife. I have a 12-month-old son now, so we've got stuff mixed in with my pack and my wife's pack for him. But I've got to the point where I feel maybe a duty to build some for some loved ones that don't necessarily see the benefit of building it for themselves. Not that they're against it, but they just don't take the time to do it for themselves. And I feel good being able to do it for them. So here's a pack. I'm not sure if I'm done with it or not. I haven't decided. I think I'm done building it, but I go back and forth. We're gonna get into this pack. I'm probably gonna have to set it on the ground and pick stuff up on this small table and show you. Also, I'm in my yard, so my dog may run up, my chickens may cock-a-doodle-doo a few times, so bear with me. But getting into this pack, so I try to keep the, I guess the basic survival mentality: food, water, shelter, fire, and then we have a few morale boosters I put in. But let's get into the pack here. Nope. This pack actually has a lot more room than stuff. I've got a lot of packs I've acquired over the years, so it's not like I'm having to spend money to buy a pack to do this. I've got the packs. So the first thing I've got in here is a first aid kit, 140 items, basic first aid kit. I think it's like $10 at Walmart. A lot of this stuff comes from Walmart. A lot of it isn't real high end, but it's useful stuff. So first aid kit. I kind of go back and forth on first aid kits. I know they are somewhat of a necessity, but I think if you have a pack and you don't have room for one, but you've got your food, water, shelter, fire covered, I think you're okay. And a lot of people disagree with that. I know personal hygiene and first aid, I mean, you can get an infection that can kill you, but I've been in situations where I wished I wouldn't have had my first aid kit in my pack, and I would have packed a few other things. It's just your mindset and what you run into. So anyway, 140 items, first aid kit, $10 at Walmart. That's the first thing I have. Second thing is a 36 ounce, I call them tumblers. I don't know if this is considered a tumbler, but it's metal. I mean, you can boil water in it, what have you, Also, I don't have anything in this because, again, I have plenty of room in this pack. But if you're trying to conserve space and you have a bottle or a tumbler or something like this, you can pack this full of things, put your lid on, and have more room in your pack. So see, this takes up this much space, regardless whether you have something inside it or not. So, and I do have packs that I have stuff packed inside my tumbler to conserve room in my pack. Oh, and you'll notice, I'm sure you'll notice, my hand's broken. I broke 3 metacarpals. It sucks, so I'm kind of half handicapped right now. So bear with me. Got a pair of leather gloves. Oftentimes I've been in situations where I've had to dig into my pack and grab my gloves. Protecting your hands from small cuts, from getting beat up is so useful. So those aren't real high end. I think they're a few bucks again at Walmart, but they're thick leather gloves. They'll last a while. They're not gonna last forever. Again, they're not high end, but having gloves is handy. And not just for cold weather, for protecting your hands. So we got 2 flashlights, a headlamp, which gives you hands-free light. If it's at night, I'm sure you're going to be using it at night. You've got hands-free light. It's on your head. You can work with your hands. You're not having to hold the light. And the light you hold. So you've got redundancy in lights. Both of these, I keep the battery protectors in them, so the batteries don't corrode and go bad. You pop the cap on this, pull the battery protector out. On this one, you just slide the battery protector out, and you've got fresh new batteries. I need to actually put backup batteries in this pack. I don't have backup batteries, but having that it's pretty important. Food, 2,400 calorie emergency bar split up into 6 400 calorie squares. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So I put the expiration date on mine. These say they're good for 5 years. I bought this like a week ago, 2018. I've got 2023 written on there, so I know when this goes bad. And to speak to food again, trail mix. A lot of peanuts in here. This is Cajun trail mix. I've got it labeled. I've got it double bagged in thick, heavy-duty Ziploc bags. Peanuts by themselves are packed full of protein. You're feeling out of energy, you're down, you're feel like you're drug out. Eat some peanuts. I mean, it's gonna boost your energy. I like getting flavored like Cajun. not as bland, and maybe that's a morale booster because you get a little spice in there. Repel mosquito wipes. I've got a ton of packs of these things. In fact, I should have put some on right now because I'm getting eaten alive by bugs. But these are awesome. I like these so much better than the spray because you're not having to spray it all over and breathe that all in. They're like baby wipes. You pull one out, you wipe it on your skin, you are good to go. Repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, jiggers, biting flies, no-see-ums, gnats. Fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, I already said all those. So that stuff is awesome. I highly recommend getting it. It's like $5 for that pack. Some camping silverware. They're plastic, they're not metal. Got a butter knife, fork, and spoon, but they're real thick plastic. You can rinse these off, wash them off, and reuse them a bunch of times. It just helps. I've been in situations where I've had to use sticks to poke and prod and pick up my food, or just use my hands and get my hands all dirty. I mean, that stuff, it's like a buck. It don't take up much room. It doesn't hardly weigh anything. It's worth having to me. Ibuprofen. We all know what ibuprofen does. Little bottle of it. Maybe you got a headache. Maybe you pulled a muscle. You need something to keep you going. Pop some ibuprofen. I'm probably going to end up knocking a bunch of this stuff to the ground, but let's hope I don't. Collapsible cup. So I don't know how many of you have actually boiled water or had to boil water, but when you boil the water, it's real hot, right? And so these are made to keep heat in or keep cold in, whatever you have. If you boil water in here, even with the cap off, it's going to take a while to cool down where you can drink it. So maybe you boil some water in here and you pour it into your collapsible cup, you extend your cup and pour it in, and it cools off a lot quicker and you can drink it once it's disinfected. Maybe you mix some things, mix some boiled water and some of the ramen noodles I'm getting ready to pull out of here, and you make a little soup in your cup. Good to have. Here's the ramen noodles, beef ramen noodles. Not a necessity, but if you're in a situation, maybe you've set traps or what have you, and you're trying to provide food, you've got food ready to go. You've got your peanuts, you've got your 2,400 calorie bar, you've got your ramen noodles. You've got food to sustain you while you're on your trip where you're going, or while you're in your situation trying to procure more food. You always have to have a mentality of the next thing. You can't think of just right now. You have to be moving forward, because if you're not moving forward in a survival situation or an emergency situation, you're going backward, because the situation is always moving forward. You have to move with it. Okay, I've got a multi-tool. I've got a lot of multi-tools, so I'm packing some of mine into these packs for my family and loved ones. This is a Gerber multi-tool. I'm not going to pull it out. Everyone knows what they are. I've got pliers, knife blades, screwdrivers, what have you on there. Great to have. Oh man, I use them so much. So this rope, I've got some twine here, and I've got some, I think this is like nylon rope on a spool. It's like 100 foot or something like that on there. Endless uses, tying up shelter, setting traps. Maybe you mix the twine with some fishing hooks, a fishing kit, and you set some limb lines or bank lines. You're fishing with it. You're setting, like I said, you're setting traps. Cordage, I'm probably going to actually add 550 cord to these packs. I haven't yet, so I need to write that down and add those into it. I have 550 cord in my immediate family's packs, but cordage is, oh man, there's like endless uses. If you don't have cordage in your pack, you are doing something wrong. Cotton balls and Vaseline. If you haven't used this, you're missing out. So I camp a lot when I'm hunting, fishing. I camp a lot recreationally with my family. I did trial tests on this. I think I have a video on my page too. So a regular cotton ball averaged 56 seconds it burned for. Now it took the spark and flame real easy, but it burned for 56 seconds. Cotton balls mixed with a fair amount of Vaseline took the spark and flame just as easy and burned for an average of almost 7 minutes. I mean, you're talking about being able to get wet wood started that much easier because this is burning that much longer. In here I've probably got 30 cotton balls mixed with Vaseline. So I'll get a big thing of Vaseline, I'll take a big spoonful and put it in my pack, or put it in the Ziploc, throw a bunch of cotton balls in there, and I'll just mush it all together so it gets uniformly mixed in there. And Vaseline is a petroleum-based product, so it burns and it extends fire extender. Glow stick, I mean, come on. They don't weigh nothing, they're cheap, you need some light, maybe your batteries have gone dead, maybe you don't want to burn the batteries up in your flashlights. You pop the glow stick, maybe you're signaling for rescue, or you're just lighting up camp, or you're having dinner. Glow stick, right there, done deal. Zip ties. We all know what zip ties are for. Maybe you need them, maybe you don't. These aren't the real cheap, real flimsy ones, but they're not the real high-end ones either. But these are 8-inch zip ties. I mean, everything, just like quarters. There's so many uses for zip ties. Why not throw them in there? I've got another paracord bracelet. I've got one on the outside of the pack. I can't remember if I showed you that or not. But paracord bracelets, I've been making these things for years. So an average paracord bracelet has about 6.5 to 7 foot of 550 cord on it. They're good to have. You throw them on your wrist, put them in your bag, whatever, and you've got some cordage right there. Cordage is very, very important. Oh, I've already set these two up here. Kleenex. You gotta go to the bathroom, you're cleaning yourself up. Maybe you got a runny nose, whatever. I mean, a runny nose isn't a huge deal, but again, doesn't weigh much. You can clean yourself up. And a lot of this stuff, so I use my pack a lot. Not necessarily if I'm in a life-threatening situation, but there's all kinds of times in my personal life or my work life I need to grab some cordage, or maybe I need some Kleenex, or you know, I'm out and about and I'm in the middle of there's been several times I've been in the middle of nowhere, I've gotten busy, forgot to eat, and I'm just feeling weak. Now this isn't my pack, again, it's a pack I'm building for a family member, an in-law, but I grab some peanuts out of my pack, I eat them, I'm good to go. I mean, it puts me back in the game. So your packs are handy for everyday use, not just life-threatening uses. A pocket knife. These things are $3.87, okay, at Walmart. They come sharp. I like to put my own edge on them as well. I like them to be, I mean, sharp. It's a lock-back pocket knife, got a belt clip on it. I mean, are you kidding me? You have to have a cutting edge. Buy this, it's cheap, throw it in your pack. Now, I do recommend having a good knife. Solid knife, full tang, good blade, good handle, good sheath. But having a blade versus not having a blade, big difference. Okay, so these, I like to buy things in bulk. So I bought a bunch of these plastic cases. I've got a fire kit and a fishing kit I've built. So let's get into the fire kit. So inside the fire kit, it's very basic. I've got a box of regular wooden matches, a lighter, a little pack of wet fire, and a zip fire starter. So the wet fire is kind of like the cotton balls and Vaseline. It's petroleum based as well. The cotton balls and Vaseline actually burn better than it, but here's the wet fire. I got it in here. These burn, these zip little fire blocks. I did a video on these too. If I remember right, I think these burnt for around 15 minutes, something like that. So they take a little bit to get them lit, hold a match up to them, a lighter up to them, but they're gonna burn. And the zip, it was actually better than the, I can't remember the other brand I tried, but that's why the zip's in here. It burned better in some windy times. So I got a little fire kit in here, lighter, matches, wet fire, zip fire block. So get this closed up. I kind of had it with that little zip block. It was kind of cumbersome to close this, but hey, it closed pretty good that time. Anyway, fire kit, ready to go. Fishing kit, and again, I don't know if you saw on the fire kit, I've got them labeled, fishing kit, fire kit. So the fishing kit, this is pretty basic too, but fishing, procuring food, that next meal mentality, right? So in the fishing kit, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lures. I've got 100 yards of 12-pound test, and I've got little leeches. That are little, I call them leeches, little reflectors that hook to my lures, draw the fish in. And I've got 6, I think they're 12-pound leaders with circle hooks on them, okay? So the fish hooks himself. You don't have to be there. So close this up, fishing kit, ready to go. But what that does is, especially with those circle hooks, you don't have to be there to set that hook. On a circle hook, a fish sets it himself. So I take those leaders, maybe I tie my twine onto it, set a bank line, right? Maybe I found a worm or it's in the current and I use one of those, what I call leeches, little reflectors that's spinning. Fish grabs it, he hooks himself. I come back later, I've got a fish. So I've got traps out, I've got bank lines and limb lines out. I'm eating my meal, I've got my camp set up, I've got traps and fishing lines out working for me while I'm being passive, not burning calories, and they're trying to procure my next meal. So that is awesome. And the last thing I have, which was awesome, it was $2.88 at Walmart. A 6-foot by 8-foot tarp. This is shelter all day long. Okay, so maybe it's wet and you're gonna stop for an hour, have a lunch break, sit down and rest. You lay this out on the ground, you're not getting wet, you're sitting down. Or you tie it up. There's so many different patterns I'm not gonna go into them to tie it for a shelter, but you got a roof. You got your nylon rope, you got your twine, your zip ties, you tie up a shelter, you've got a roof over you. I mean, it's invaluable, fits in a bag, less than $3. So we've got food, water, shelter, fire, and then we've got first aid, and we've got some hygiene items. That is, in my opinion, what goes into a basic kit. I do also have Mylar blankets I'm going to add to this. I should have had that actually before this video, but I'm going to put 2 Mylar blankets in each pack that I'm building. That helps keep warm. They're not great real cold, but they do help. Having one versus not having one is a big difference. So I appreciate this. Hey, if you guys have any advice or opinions, anything you think I should add, let me know. I always love to learn, so I appreciate it. Thanks for bearing with me out here, and have a good day.